Hey guys, and welcome to today's video. We're here to talk about some eyeshadow palettes. Now I feel like it was maybe like a year or so ago when I talked about like my top neutral eyeshadow palettes. It's an older video. I can link it down below if you want to check it out. There may be some repeats here. I didn't actually look at that video, but I do have some new palettes in here as well. But I thought that today I would pull like, not necessarily like brown neutrals. Like when I think of neutral, I think of like brownie shades, but these are like my top 5 go-to eyeshadow palettes, and I'm a neutral lover. So that's why I'm calling this like go-to eyeshadow palettes for the neutral lover, because there is some color and variation in here, but it's comfortable for me as a neutral lover. If you're new here, hello and welcome. My name is Kelly and I love all things makeup and beauty. I love talking, I love makeup, I love talking about makeup. So if you like to chat about makeup too, I would love to have you subscribe and be part of the K Bella fam. Why don't we go ahead and jump into the video. Okay, now I'm not going in any particular order. I'm just going to go ahead and grab and go. And I do have an honorable mention because I don't think you can get this on sale anymore. But let's start with the newest palette to my collection. It is this one right here by Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is the Nouveau palette. I almost didn't get this palette because when I looked at it, I thought that it was like a little bit boring. The pictures didn't really stand out to me. I was like, I don't really feel like I need this in my collection. And then I was seeing people review it on YouTube and I was like, you know what? Maybe I want to try it. Maybe I want to give it a go. I have had tons of Anastasia Beverly Hills palettes in the past and I have loved them all. I like the formula. I think it's really good. This feels like the same ABH formula to me. Some people have said that they feel like it's a little bit better. To me, it feels the same great formula. But the thing I love about this is because you do have your neutral shades where you can get a little bit rosy, you can get gold over here. This tends to pull a little bit more gold. It looks like it's going to be like a taupey shade. It pulls gold for me. But then you also have these fun greens. And I feel like for me, if I'm going to reach for color, green is a comfortable color for me. So I feel like as a neutral lover, having these greens in here or getting smoky with this deeper brown shade. And then if you want to get a little crazy, if you want to get a little funky, you have some pops of color in here. So overall, I feel like it's a neutral palette, but it's a fun neutral palette where you can lean more green, more rosy, or even jazz it up a bit. Another palette that is a little bit newer to my collection that I do think of when I think of neutrals, like the traditional neutrals, is the Lunar Beauty Nude Prism palette. I have been wanting to try an eyeshadow palette from Manny's brand, Lunar Beauty. I was just waiting for one that spoke to me. A lot of his were full of tons of color. This one is not. This one is straight neutral. You're not going to have any fun pops of color in here, but you have 2 rows of mattes where you can go a little bit lighter, you can deepen it up a little bit, you have this black if you want to make it a little bit smoky, and then these beautiful shimmer shades in the middle here. I feel like this palette is super easy for like quick get up and go, where I just grab a matte shade, throw it in the crease, grab a lid shade, pop it on, and I'm good to go. This would be a great palette to travel with because it is cardboard packaging. You do have a mirror in there, but it feels nice and sturdy. The quality is great. The mattes are super blendable. The shimmers go on nicely. I don't have any qualms about it, and I'm just really, really glad to have this one in my collection. And when I was teaching, obviously it's summer now that I'm filming. I don't know when you'll see this because I'm pre-filming for maternity leave, but when I was still working, this was a go-to because it was super easy for me to get ready at 5:30 in the morning and just kind of throw some eyeshadow on and go. If you're looking for something smaller or something more affordable or something just on the cooler end of the spectrum, instead of colors, instead of warmer shades, I still love my Colourpop That's Taupe palette. This is a great little palette. There are only 9 pans here. It's much more affordable since it's Colourpop. I love these shades. You do get a little bit more of a cooler vibe. I don't reach into this shade Slated too much because it is a Super Shock formula and I don't love the Super Shock formula, but I feel like the mattes are super creamy and blendable. I really enjoy these 2 shimmer shades if you want to smoke it up a little bit. This shimmer shade is nice, but this is great for, again, like quick, easy, go-to I would just honestly mix these together and kind of throw them in the crease and then pick a lid shade and get out the door. So it's kind of like easy mom makeup for me, but still looking put together and beautiful. So I really enjoy this one as well. Now here's where I'm gonna cheat a bit, because now that I showed you something affordable, I'm gonna show you something expensive, but I'm showing you 2 palettes and I don't necessarily think you need both of them. I think you could pick the color story that works for you, but these are 2 go-to eyeshadow palettes for me. They are both by Natasha Denona. This is her midi size. They used to be $65, but I think someone said they're $67 now. I have the Glam palette and the Retro palette. If I'm remembering correctly, the Glam palette probably was in my older video because I've had this for a while. I love this palette. Again, you get cooler shades if you're into a cooler vibe. You do have this like corner right here that is a little bit more warm toned. You have beautiful silver shades. I love the Natasha Denona formula. It's super creamy and blendable. The shimmers are stunning and I reach for this a lot. This is usually like a go-to if I have a special event like a wedding or something. But then I also got my hands on the Natasha Denona Retro palette, and I feel like these shades have been in lately, like the rosy vibes. They're not quite the brown neutrals that we're used to, but still very wearable for a neutral lover. Again, you have the great Natasha Denona formula. You do have some more like copper berry shades over here, very bright reflective shades. You can get a little bit deeper. I really like the shade Jude. It's a beautiful like taupey shade, and also this shade Helio. Those are kind of my go-to. I would just throw either Andy or Nude Mauve in the crease and then usually top it with Helio or Jude, and that was like my go-to look. And I would take Psychedelic or Glitz and pop it on the inner corner. Quick, easy, go-to. Love the Natasha Denona formula. Do you necessarily need both of these? No, it's an investment. They're pricey. Like, pick the one that you like the most. So I'm gonna count this as one, but if you're makeup obsessed like me, I don't think you'll be disappointed if you have both of them. Now let's say you go with the Natasha Denona Glam, so you have the cool tone vibe, but you're still looking for like a good rosy eyeshadow palette. That's when this bad boy comes into play. I love my Vive Muse palette. Now, this eyeshadow palette is a little bit, the shimmers are a little bit of a different formula than her Essential palette. If you're familiar with the Essential palette, I like these shimmers better. I wasn't impressed with the shimmers in the Essential palette by Vive, but this you have a beautiful rosy toned color story. I do have Nude. I do have Love in the crease right now, and I have Mystic along my lower lash line and Divine on the inner corner. I have a Caviar stick on my lid right now, but this is great if you're looking for like a rosy vibe, more of a romantic look. This has been a go-to for me. I love the formulation. I love that you get these nice huge pans. I bought mine directly from Vive Cosmetics and I didn't have any issues with shipping, although you can order it on Cult Beauty as well. You do get a nice mirror. It's nice and sturdy, and I think this is a great eyeshadow palette. Now this last palette is an honorable mention because I don't think you can get it anymore, but it's still like a favorite for me. I still really love this eyeshadow palette and it's great for every day, and I really don't know why it was discontinued, but it's the Dominique Cosmetics Latte palette. Now I love this eyeshadow palette. I honestly don't reach for these 2 shades, but look at this. This is like a neutral lover's dream. You have these beautiful matte shades. I can set my eyeshadow primer. I typically go in with caramel in the crease, and then depending on my vibe, I'll take either mocha or hazelnut to deepen it up. Pumpkin spice can go on the lower lash line, but these shimmer shades are really the standout for me, especially this macchiato shade. I love it. It's beautiful. The pigmentation is great. I get minimal fallout. You do get a nice mirror in here, and this again is like cardboard packaging but very sturdy and great to travel with. So if you find this somewhere, if it gets relaunched, if you see it on Poshmark or something, I think this is another great go-to. But that is going to do it for this video. Those are just like my go-to palettes. I have a large selection over there. My makeup collection videos will be coming soon if they have not already started, but I have a huge collection. These are just my go-tos. Like, I know I'm a neutral lover. I know that I'm looking for a certain vibe, and if I don't have time to think about like my eyeshadow look or what palette I want to use, those are the eyeshadow palettes that I'm reaching for. But that's gonna do it for this video. I would love to know your thoughts in the comments down below. Have you tried any of these palettes? Do you love them? What is your go-to palette if you are a neutral lover? Otherwise, that's going to do it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.